All right, welcome back. We're going to finish this part of our draw. What we're going to do is we're going to use this to do some compound addition of our fractions. Normally we would use, if we're just doing this on paper, our scientific calculator. This program has the same capacity to do that as well, but we can use the dimensioning to do that instead of our scientific calculator. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is we want to add our sizes for the holes here. There's two different sizes. If I want you to look at this on the right-hand side, on the drill side, these are the diameter of our drill bits that we're going to use. On the tap side, these are the size of our taps that we're going to use. Later on, we're going to look at a drill and tap chart to figure out what size drill bits we need to drill these. So we drew the holes, actually the size of the green out, the largest part of the threads, but we're going to label them different here. So we're going to grab our dimensioning tool first to do the drill side. I'm going to go over and turn on my little cursor highlighter here, and I'm just going to use my dimensioning tool here. Let's see, zoom in, dimension, and we're going to, now if it's not letting you snap onto here, you may have to go down in your constraints menus and turn on your constraints, and then that might let you snap on there, so that's fine. I'm just going to go 1, okay, 2, try to line these up. You may have to zoom, drag it to make your numbers all line up, and I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, and then this last one, 4 here. Okay. All right, so now on the tap side of things, instead of using the dimension, we need to put in the actual information here. So we're going to use this annotation key. So I'm going to click on annotation, but I want to double check real quick my settings for this. So I'm going to pull this down. I'm looking for this icon in the settings menu. And if I click on the picture here, that will let us modify. This may pop up on your other screen. That will let us modify the multi-leader style management. Okay. So I'm going to go here, modify, and right now I'm just checking for the size of my text for the most part. By default, it's going to be 0.18. I'm going to lower this down. That's 180,000. I'm going to change it to 120,000. Okay. And everything else should be fine. I shrunk the arrows down for my other arrow leaders, but we can make those at 120,000 as well. So they match the other arrows. That would work. And click on OK. Now remember, this won't take into effect unless I hit set as current, and then I can close this. So now we're going to just go down here and type in this data. So we could put it to the center, or we could put it, I like having it image the same as the other one. So I'm going to go back in here, click on my leader annotation, grab this point, and I don't know, maybe I will go off the center. I haven't tried that before. We could go from the center point over. If it is, I may have to turn off the snap cursors here. Leader, select the leading landing location. So yeah, I clicked on it. Let's see. There's the leader. Oh, the landing is where we want it to finish. Oh, you know why? You may have to turn off ortho mode. It wanted to lock everything to go stuck straight across, and it wasn't letting me do this. So I wanted to pull up here a little bit, and I'm just going to go at this angle, and then let's type in our number. Our number over here is 9/16 by 12 threads per inch. Okay, so it's 9/16 is the overall size of the depth of our threads, 9/16 dash, and then 12 is how many threads there are per inch. There's one. Now I'm going to click on, I'm going to have to click on and off of this every time. One, let's bring it up to here. And this one is going to be 1/2, 1/2 dash 13 threads per inch. Okay, and then I have to click off of it to accept it. I'm not even going to worry about lining those up yet. I'll do that in a minute. And then the next one is going to be a 7/16 thread. So grab our leader tool again. I'll just go off of this middle spot. And this one is 7/16 by 20 threads per inch. So as you notice, the smaller the size hole, the more threads per inch that we're going to get. into our part. Grab the next leader. This one is going to be 3/8, and then so this is a 3/8 inch. So we're not going to use a 3/8 bit for this. Is this thing? We have to do a smaller drill bit when we drill these out, because the deepest part of our thread is going to be in at 3/8. So now if you notice, this one is actually 16 threads per inch again. And so that means maybe this 7/16 might be wrong. It might be right. Or we'll double check that when we get in the shop. It's just breaking the pattern there. So different threads are available, and some are more standardized than others. And then the last one we want, I'm going to accept that or enter, not enter, click off of it. And the last one, let's do this leader here. We have, I'm going to zoom in and bring it up here. Actually, I want to go to the center. So leader from the center up to here. And this one is a 1/4 20. Okay, so a lot of times you'll say, what size is that screw or machine screw or bolt? And you would read it as 1/4 20. Okay, and that would be the amount of this overall size and the number of threads. So let's dress this up a tiny bit. I'm just going to, in order to move these where I want, now I want to shut off my constraints, and I can kind of drag them around and make them a little more pretty and kind of line everything up a little better, just so it looks neater in my scene. Next, this is going to be, we have 2 more steps. We want to add our radius on here, and then we'll use this for our calculations. So let's go up to our dimensioning tool again. If I go down and hover on this, my constraints are on, so it will lock onto this line, and it will say my radius of this is a 1/4 inch. I click once to select the radius, and I can drag it out here and make it look like it is there. Perfect. That's typical, so we only have to label one of those, and we'll know that it's like that on all 4 sides. And then the last thing we want to do is we're going to use our dimensioning tool to do some of the addition of our fractions here. The other way to do that is with our scientific calculator. But while we're here, let's do it. So I grab my dimensioning tool. I'm going to click on this first line from here. I don't need to do the first one because it's already here, 13/16. But I want to go from here to the second line. That's going to be 1 3/4. So I'm just going to drag this over. So if you do this now, you can use this drawing later to map out your. Now, why am I doing this? Because when we lay this out on our metal, we never want to measure from this line to that line. We always assume that we're going to be a little bit off. And if I measure from here to here and then from here to here, that amount that we're off is going to get worse and worse, and pretty soon our holes are not going to line up. And we're getting graded on this by the exact location of the holes in our project. So dimension from the bottom here again to the next line. And I'm going to drag these out. I'm keeping them nice and tight, but they're kind of scaling up as you see. And then the last one is from here to here, and drag that up. All right, that is a wrap for this video. We will come back in the next one and show how to print this. I guess the last thing, this is in the wrong layer, so I'm going to change this to layout line. Everything else looks good. Let's add these to our dimensioning layer here real quick so they change colors. And we will call that a wrap for now. Thanks for joining me in this one, and we will see you in the next draw.